Hey everyone, welcome to episode number 3 of the UnBusiness show. My name is Marshall Stern, and I'm glad you guys are here joining us today in this very special episode of the UnBusiness show. So we're doing a little bit differently. Last week, in the last couple of weeks, we've been talking about the actual process of unbusinessing your business. And today, we're taking a small break for a good reason. We're going to get back into the process tomorrow, but for today, we have a special guest here it's a great correlation, great sort of segue from what we talked about last week, was the importance of discovering and knowing and living your why and your what, otherwise known for most of us business owners as mission and vision. But today we are here interviewing the guy who's doing it. So his name is Jon Lamont, and Jon is the owner of Belmark Media, a marketing automation firm in Calgary. He is married to his junior high school sweetheart, Stephanie, and together they have 2 amazing children, Blake, who is 11, and Emily, who is 10. Oh gosh, you have your hands full. Jon's family is the most important thing. I love this. It is the most important thing in his life, building a business that provided him the most possible time with his family was at the top of his priority list when starting his business. His passion for processes, depending on where you're from, and automation has allowed him to spend more time with his family. Now, his mission is to help entrepreneurs all over the world accomplish the same thing. I love it. Jon, how are you doing?
Doing well. Yeah. Thanks for having me, Marshall. This is great.
So, we've known each other for, I guess, probably 5 or 6 months, 6 months now, I think. You're in my mastermind group. We were in a different mastermind group as well. So I've learned a lot about you, and I really respect a lot of things that you're doing, everything you're doing, and you're living really the unbusiness process. And a lot of our viewers don't really know fully what that is yet. But you said it, or I said it in your bio, your why. So that's the first question. I want to just, in your words, why do you get up in the morning?
Why do I get up in the morning? I'll tell you what. So, the boring answer is for my family. I think that's cliche. I think everyone can kind of gravitate to that when they're thinking of their why. It goes a little deeper for me. I used to, my past life, I worked in a gravel pit. I spent 14 years in a gravel pit. And for those that don't know, when you're driving your car on the road, when you're walking on the sidewalk, that all comes from a gravel pit. So my job was to crush the gravel that makes all of those different products. Now the problem is there's a short window when you live in Calgary to produce that. So we worked all summer long. The busiest time of our year was in the summer. We'd get a month off in the wintertime, but in the summertime it was just you work 6-7 days a week, 13, 14-hour days, just as much as physically possible. And you know me, I love my summer. I love the warm weather. I love being able to do fun things. I wasn't able to do that for 14 years. And when we think about the age of my children, 11 and 10, a lot of their life I spent a lot of their life in a gravel pit. They didn't get to know who dad was. I was gone 5:30 in the morning. I'd leave the house. I wouldn't get home until 6:30, 7 o'clock at night, sometimes later than that. They were young at the time. They'd be in bed at 8. I'd get an hour, maybe half an hour some nights with my children. Sometimes I wouldn't see them at all. I'd go entire days without seeing my children. And to me, that wasn't right. I talk about how important my family is, and then I'd go and proceed to leave them for, 13 hours a day, every single day. So my why is if I don't succeed in business, I've got to go back to that lifestyle. And for me, that's what drives me. That's what motivates me. That's what gets me out of bed. That's what gets me working hard while I'm working. That's what keeps me focused. And ultimately, it's for my family, but it's so that I can spend the time with my family.
I love that. And I think that's why we connected really well, because I'm exactly the same way. Family is number one with me. I don't want to miss not as many activities right now with COVID and everything, but although they're starting to come back, but I didn't want to miss, like when my son was younger, his baseball games or his practices. I was always a manager of the team or involved, whether it was hockey or baseball, soccer. Same thing with my daughter with her dance. So it's so important. And I think the problem is a lot of business owners start off right in business with this idea of, hey, I'm a great graphic designer, so I'll start my own agency. And then they get stuck doing everything and they miss time with their family, or they're with their family, but they're not really present because they're checking their email and responding, right?
100%. Yeah.
So you talked about the why, like your personal why, which drives you. You talk about your vision. Now, one of the other things I find out with a lot of business owners, and that's why I call it why and what. And I struggled with this for a while. I find a lot of business owners might know what their why is, or if you want to call it the mission, personally, and they might even know what it is in business, but it's different and it's not congruent, and there's a battle. Whereas with you, it sounds like there's synergy and it is congruent. So, like in your business, you mentioned it in your bio. Tell me, like your business, your mission of your business, because it has to do with automation, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, for me, it's, starting a business and then running a business. They're two different things. And I think a lot of business owners get stuck in the fact that, because they're business owners, they think that they're going to have more freedom. They're going to have more time. If they put in this time early, maybe they do it for 3-4 years. Well, on the 5th year, things are going to get better and they'll have more time. Well, it doesn't necessarily work that way. In fact, it could go the opposite way. So what we focus on in the business is building processes, and then just, systematizing everything, and then having automation in place to allow you to run those processes. So it's not just you working on it all the time, and you have more freedom. So ultimately, when I talk about spending more time with my family, it's because of the processes that I have in place, and, being able to automate that just takes it to the next level. But I mean, that's the name of the game, having things in place so that when you're hiring somebody, you don't need a true expert in their field. You just need someone who can execute on processes. That's why McDonald's has so much success. That's why all these fast food places had so much success. You're not hiring Red Seal chefs to make a McDonald's burger. You're just getting people to execute on a process that was developed. And so that's how I've built my business. And that's what I help other people do. I help them with, automating their marketing, automating their sales, automating the onboarding process, just to really help them focus on the most important things and let almost a robot, I guess, run the very important stuff, but stuff that is just menial and can be done behind the scenes, and stuff that they don't need to actually spend all their time doing. So yeah, my mission is to help other people achieve the ability to spend more time with their family, because I know how important it is and I know what it means to me. So that's the business. That's the mission in our business. And the more people we can help, the more people are able to live the life that they truly want to live.
Yeah, I hear that. And I mean, again, it's very congruent with what I do, right? And that's what, like, I don't know if you can see it. So behind, I mean, it's all about leadership. And I do almost the exact same thing as you do, except not on the automation side. But it's all about helping people build a business really that supports their life, rather than people living a life and it has to support their business. People have backwards, don't you? I mean, don't you agree? So I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of people do. Some people don't. You don't. I don't.
Yeah. No, and they do. And I mean, and some just really don't know that there's another way. They just know that, okay, in order, this has to be done, and I'm not willing to hire somebody else, so then I have to do it myself. And, if that's the case, then that's where automation can come in and just help the odd little thing, to free up a little bit of their time. But I mean, bringing in somebody else, whether it's an assistant, a virtual assistant, I mean, could just be all they need in order to be able to get a little bit of their time back. And it might be a worthwhile investment, but they just, they spend, it's funny because I find people will spend, let's say it costs $10,000 to start their business. Let's say it costs $100,000 to spend their business. Or to start their business, sorry. They will find the money needed to start the business, but then investing in actually building it out and putting structure and having processes in place, maybe it only takes another $10,000. They don't spend on that. Even though if you said, hey, it's going to cost you $110,000 to start the business, they would find that extra 10 grand, but they're not going to spend it building out their processes. And I think that's where people are a little broken. They just think that maybe they'll put in the sweat equity and they won't have to spend that extra, whatever the money is, 5,000, 10,000, whatever it would be to build it out the right way, so that they have their time. It takes them years of banging their head against the wall and really struggling in their business before they realize that, oh shoot, there's things that I can do. There's things that I can put in place to make my life easier. And I think if people did that right out of the gate, A, there'd be more successful businesses, and B, business owners would have a lot more time and energy and money to be able to do the things that they want to do.
Great. So, I mean, on that topic or on that note, what would be how long have you been? How long have you had Belmark? How long have you been in business?
3 years.
3 years. Okay, so you're in 3 years. You know what you're doing. You're doing it. You're living the life that you set out to live. If there was like I like to ask this question to people, one piece of advice, because you've been doing it now 3 years. You're a seasoned vet, right? One piece of advice to not necessarily startups, although it could be startups for sure. Just people in business who are just struggling, and they might not be struggling financially, struggling with their time. They're tired, they're exhausted, they're frustrated. One piece of advice to them.
One piece is tough. I've got a couple. I think
a couple.
One would be, again, build your business the right way. I know the sweat equity is going to save you some money. I know that it's going to allow you to put your resources elsewhere. But if it's something that you have to do over and over and over again, and it's stopping you from being able to really grow your business, put something in place, hire somebody, put a software in place, do something to free up that time, because yes, you're going to save a little bit of money up front if you're doing sweat equity. But when does it end? Eventually, there's going to be more and more things that you're putting sweat equity into that you're just running around in circles and you're really killing yourself by doing that. So I would recommend just building it out right the first time. But above and beyond that, I would say stop listening to people who say that you've got to be up at 4 a.m. in order to be successful, that you have to, stay up until 1 a.m. in order to, you got to work from 4 a.m. to 1 a.m. in order to be successful. And, if you don't do that, you're not hustling, you're not working hard enough. Don't buy into that stuff. Live the life that you want to live. If that means that you've got to stop taking meetings until 10 a.m. Don't be taking morning meetings, and you get to sleep in a little longer and wake up and have a good exercise and a good breakfast to get your day started right. But then you might have to go a little longer into the evening. Just find the day that works best for you and execute on that. Do not buy into the 4 a.m. club and the 5 a.m. club just because it works for some people. It doesn't work for everybody. And just live your life. Stop trying to listen to what everyone else has to say for your success, because they don't know what your life is like. They don't know what your schedule is like. They don't know the hours of operation that you function the best in. So just do what you want to do and make sure that you're living your best life, and all that other stuff will just be so much easier when you get that figured out. So I think that would be my number one piece of advice.
That's a great piece of advice. And I know a lot of people out there are probably like listening and going, oh, thank God, I don't have to do the 5 a.m. thing. But it's true, right? I mean, and that's what we do as entrepreneurs, as business owners, even just as business people really trying to grow. Anyone who wants to get better in personal development and in growth, we're looking to others, and we see other people doing certain things, and we think that's the way it should be. Yeah. Like, I've never heard the 4 a.m. club is absolutely ridiculous, so forget that. But even the 5 a.m. club, I mean, it's seriously, some people, yeah, as you said, it works. Not for me. But the key point.
One thing they leave out is it works for them because they're in bed at 9 o'clock at night, 10 o'clock at night. If you're a night owl, you can do that for 1, 2, 3 nights, maybe a full week. But after that, you're going to kill yourself by doing that. So, some people just can't go to bed early. And if that's you, then don't try and wake up early just because someone says that you have to. The hours of operation that work best for you, execute on that. Work harder than what they're going to do from 4 until, if you wake up at 8, like I do, from 4 to 8. What they're going to accomplish in that 4-hour span. From 8 to 12, just make that 4-hour span as effective as what they were. Or maybe, again, after dinner, you've got a 2-hour span that you really execute at a high level. Just make that as productive as the 4 to 8 that they do in the morning, and you'll be fine. It's just, don't worry about what time of day it happens. Just make sure that you are executing at a high level whenever that time is for you.
I think that's the key point. I think the two that I take from that is do what works for you. Everyone's got a different situation. Some people have young kids, some people have teenage kids, some people don't have kids, and then their schedule is their schedule, and whatever just works for them in their own, whatever works best, right, for their lifestyle. And the other one is just when you do have that focus time, just do it at a high level, right? So that's awesome. How often so one of the things we do in this whole business process it's really centered around the main part of it, the kind of foundation, which is what we started off with, which is the why and the what. So knowing what you want, why you do what you do, and what it is that you want down the road, like a 3-year plan. How often, and not focusing so much every single day on sales, the marketing, and I'm talking about like really being in it, right? I mean, we're the owners, we're the leaders of our business, but whether it's through automation or through a team, outsourced or in-house, we don't need to be doing the sales and the marketing and the finance and the HR and the cleaning and the production all the time, right?
Yeah.
So that's the whole business process, is to look at your life. It's more holistically, the overall, your life as a whole, because that's why in the end, as they say, like the analogy, when you're on your deathbed, you don't say, "Oh, I wish I would have worked more."
Yeah.
So, how often do you go back to looking at your mission and vision, or your why and your what?
Well, I mean, I write my goals every day. So I would say daily is when I'm looking at this stuff. I know that if I want to accomplish certain things, for example, I talked about the summers. You know this by our conversations. I don't like the cold anymore. I never have, but I was never in a position where I could do something about it. Now I'm in a position where I can do something about it. Writing my goals for the last 3 years on where I want to spend my winters and how I want to live my life has led me to the point where this winter we're not going to be cold anymore. So we're going to a warm climate for the winter. And as the years progress and the world opens up a little more after these crazy times we're in, our final destination might be somewhere tropical. It might be one of the American coastlines. Who knows where we're going to end up being? But the only reason that's even possible is because I write my goals every day, and the fact that it's front and center, I mean, it's something that I'm always aware of. If I don't work hard today, I'm not going to be able to be warm in the winter. Or if I don't work hard today, I mean, I have financial goals. We have, we've got a list of fun things that we want to accomplish, my family and I. So we broke down a list of everything that we want to accomplish, the 4 of us. And without being able to work extremely hard in the time I'm awake, I'm not going to be able to accomplish those. So yeah, it's daily. I'm thinking about this stuff daily, and writing down my goals really helps that.
Awesome. That's another good one. Yeah. Just writing down your goals, but as long as they're congruent with what you say you want, the life you want, the business that you want, it all has to be congruent and in line. Right.
Exactly.
So that's
and
awesome.
I mean, I'm writing down like 5-year goals, 3-year goals. I don't do like daily stuff. Those are targets that I try to accomplish. When I have a yearly goal, I know, okay, I break it down in 12 months. Okay. And then I break it down in 52 weeks. And then, so I know daily I have to accomplish X, Y, Z in order to accomplish this for the year. But those are just targets that I need to hit the day. But I think bigger picture when I'm writing my goals. And of course that all aligns with my mission and my vision.
Okay, great. So for our listeners out there, viewers out there, how would they know if they would be a good fit for your automation process?
Yeah, I guess, I mean, if you find that you're doing things over and over, there's just one task that you just hate doing. I mean, there's usually 4 things that I talk about. It's something that A, you're not great at doing, B, something that you really hate doing, C, takes the majority of your time, and then D is just non-revenue generating. If these 4 things you find that you're spending a lot of time on in these areas, you need to do something about it. Either outsource it, hire somebody, or put a piece of software in place. So, I mean, it's always great to have a conversation to see if automation is the right fit for you. The thing with automation is, software does cost money. So you're looking at, anywhere between $100 to $200 a month on software costs just to build in automation. So if that's worth it, if $200 a month is worth it for that software cost, then absolutely do it. If not, and you'd rather just have an assistant for, a part-time assistant who can tackle a bunch of different tasks, maybe that's the place to start. So it would just start with a conversation. I usually find people in their 3rd year of business who are looking to really scale, that's where the automation works best. That's where, you know, they've got employees in place, they have processes that are developed, whether just in their mind or in their employee's head, and they just have to put it on paper. They already have processes that are working for them. That's where I find automation really helps them the most. So in the startup phase, maybe not. Maybe it's just a matter of, you know, bringing in somebody to help you, a partner, or sorry, not a partner, but an assistant or virtual assistant could probably do for you what automation would do, and you can use them for other tasks as well. So that might be the best place to start. But yeah, if you've been in business 2 to 3 years, you're looking to scale, automation might be exactly what you're looking for.
What about 26 years like me?
Yeah, I think you're ready.
I think I'm ready. Okay, so for those people who are ready, who just want to find out more information about your business, about you, and how you might be able to help them, what's the best way? How can they get in touch with you?
Yeah, so belmarkmedia.com, BELMARK media.com is a great way. I also have a personal website, jonlamont.com. That's Jon, John. Either one of those is a great way to reach out to me. And yeah, I'd be happy to jump on a call and see if automation's the right fit for you. If not, I'd be happy to tell you that maybe there's another path for you. So yeah, I mean, I don't force automation on anybody. I think they have to be in the right place. So the conversation is the best place to start. But yeah, either belmarkmedia.com or jonlamont.com would be the best way.
That's awesome. Okay, well, I'm going to post that in the notes as well. And guys, if you have any questions, whether you're watching this live, I'm a little technologically not so savvy right now, so I'm doing this Zoom through Facebook. I'm not sure how to see the questions. So if there are questions, post them in there for John or for myself, and we'll definitely answer them. Any last sort of words of wisdom, John?
Words of wisdom.
I'm not putting pressure on them.
No, I would just kind of reiterate. I mean, you know, really focus on what your goals are, really focus on why you get out of bed, and then just build your life around that. I mean, part of why my business has evolved into the way it has is because I knew the importance of my time. I knew the importance of the things that I wanted to do in life. And I knew that if I built it where I was the technician, I guess I've got the E-Myth here. I don't know if you've read the E-Myth, but if I'm the technician in my business, there's no way that I'd be able to accomplish the things that I want to accomplish. So just really look at the things that you're doing, the tasks that you're doing day in and day out, and see what you can outsource to somebody else. In fact, the E-Myth and 4-hour work week is really what my whole business is built off of. Those two concepts kind of weaved together to make my company what it is. I mean, that's essentially what we execute on, building the systems and then automating those systems. So yeah, I would even tell people, if you haven't read those books, read those books. That's a great place to start to see how you can kind of build that business and that life that you want, that business that you know that you're going to get to one day. You just may not have the tools to be able to do it right now. Those books will help you, and then obviously we can have a conversation and help you as well. So yeah, just take control of your life. Don't listen to what other people are saying, and don't be looking at their highlight reel on social media and think that that's the way that their whole life is, because it's probably not true. So yeah, focus on you do you, live your best life, and ultimately you'll be happy.
That's awesome. Well, John, I appreciate this. I've enjoyed it. Every time I hear you speak, I enjoy it. I've learned something from you, and I know our listeners have as well. So I'll put the contact information down in the show notes, and have a great week, John. Thank you so much for being here. And tomorrow, that's a wrap for episode 3 of the UnBusiness Show. Tomorrow, actually, we're doing back-to-back days. Episode 4, we're going to the next stage, the next process in UnBusiness. So stay tuned for that. Until we see each other, have a great day.
Thanks again, Marshall.